What's up, everybody? It's Chase Bordy with GamePlan for your academics. So, what's the secret ingredient? What's the special sauce? The stuff that makes people a winner? You might think it's whoever's the best. You know, the person who's the hardest working, most attractive, smartest. But I really don't think that's it. If it's a single attribute that guaranteed success, well, we pay more attention. The problem is, you see lots of people who don't really have these attributes maxed out, yet they're beating people who are smarter, who are harder working, who are more attractive. And they're just beating them by a large margin. So how can we explain that? What really is it that is guaranteeing success for these people who just don't seem to be the people who have that natural talent? Some of the most successful people can be the unexpected. Let's talk about Jamie Siminoff, the inventor. Jamie Siminoff is the inventor of the Wi-Fi video doorbell. He was working in his garage, he tinkers around, right? And he wanted to be able to interact with the delivery man. He didn't want to have to leave his garage and ruin his workflow. So what did he do? He's an inventor. So basically he had to figure things out. He had to figure out his starting point. And then he had to learn things. He had to get that knowledge. Then once he had the knowledge, he had to start putting things together through real skills. He had to make something. And ultimately he came up with the Doorbot. So basically the Doorbot is this automated thing where you can link up your phone and talk to whoever's at your door. And Jamie realized that this had security utility as well. He was sitting on something that was going to be a very big thing to a lot of people, and he knew this. So what did he do? He put in the work. Shark Tank. So Shark Tank is the ABC show that puts together two groups of people. You have the venture capitalists. These are the people with the money. And then you have the entrepreneurs. These are the people without the money. But they have an idea. And these ideas can make more money. So what happens is you group these venture capitalists with these entrepreneurs. They basically trade ideas for this money, and then they make a deal. So just to get on the show is very difficult. You have to pitch your idea. You have to have some success somewhere along the way. People have to like you. You have to still commit yourself in this direction, opening yourself up to potentially being rejected. It's very hard to get to this step already. So Jamie is here. Now let's see what happens. Jamie comes on the show and it's apparent he did his homework. He put in the work, he developed the skills, he developed the knowledge, he had this vision, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was sitting on this product that was going to impact a lot of people's lives, and he knew this. He wanted to communicate this. How could you turn down somebody who has all of that in their favor? I'll tell you how. For that reason, I'm out. You see, in Shark Tank, whenever the venture capitalists, the sharks as they're noted in the show, if they don't want to do a deal, they simply give you a reasoning and then they tell you, I'm out. That is a formal declaration. That says, I'm not willing to do business with you for a number of reasons, but you're not getting their money. And to put it in more clear terms, money is very important, not just for growing the business, but think of money as the oxygen for the business. Once your business runs out of money, it can't breathe and it will die. Jamie was in a very difficult spot, actually, whenever Shark Tank was rolling around. He was near bankruptcy. He really needed to close a deal, otherwise he was in for some very tough times. And he didn't close a deal. So what went wrong? Well, nothing went wrong. This is the problem. Opportunity is a moving target. Basically, just to have the capability, the possibility to even shoot for the target, you have to do a lot of things. And a lot of people just aren't even gonna get to this step because it's so difficult already just to make it to getting to Shark Tank. Just to be able to pull the trigger towards the target in just the general direction. Most people will never see the opportunity target in their lives. Now, whenever it comes to pulling the trigger, that is its own battle. And going on to Shark Tank, being exposed to the risk of rejection, the risk that someone is going to tell you that your idea, basically your dream, is not worth investing into or it's not worth their time for any number of reasons. That can be a slap in the face. And whenever you spent so much time on developing your capability, developing whatever it is that you are working on, making your vision come true, and then you shoot for opportunity and you miss, it's really difficult to want to try to pull the trigger again because you're so discouraged, and you're going to have to muster up a lot more courage before you're going to be able to pull the trigger again. So let's see what Jamie did. From Doorbot to Ring. So Jamie was at a decision point. Basically, he could cut his losses, he could give up on his dream, and he could try to undo some of this damage. Or he could keep going after the dream. Now, Jamie notes that this was a fortunate experience because he was near bankruptcy. So he had to make this business work and he really had no other option. So there was no other option. So he committed. No. Sorry, I messed that up. He stayed committed, because there's a big difference. He was committed this whole time. He kept putting in the same hard work. He kept using the same skills, the same knowledge to improve what he built, to satisfy what his vision really was. He got help from Shaquille O'Neal to endorse his product. And with all of this going into his dream, his vision for his life, he was able to sell his business for over $1 billion to Amazon. Now, I really think we should be impressed by this. I mean, just look at how big $1 billion is. That's a lot of zeros. But more importantly, we should be really impressed by his ability to stay committed to his direction. What he was able to do is not for the weak. He got rejected. He put in hard hours of work. Most people never work this hard on any single thing in their life. And he's putting everything he has into this. All of his money, all of his time, all of his brain power, his entire existence was going into satisfying his vision, making his dream come true. And then it got rejected. And then he still came back and he kept pursuing it. And then it worked. Despite the failure, don't you think that he would still go back and do it all over again? I would say yes. Despite his circumstances, he stayed committed to his direction. And I think we should do the same. The powerlifting meet. So my story is based off of lifting. Basically, a lot of people work out. They want to see how strong they are. For me, I want to figure that out by competing. So what do? I trained, I developed my knowledge and skills, and I started to get good at the powerlifting thing. And I decided it was time for a meet because I wanted to get that real life feedback to see if I really was good, to see if all of my training potentially was making me special, seeing if I was one of those elite. I wanted that real life data because I wanted to go back and I wanted to fix anything that was not good enough because I wanted to be great at what I set my mind to. Overconfident male. So whenever I was getting to the powerlifting meet, again after years of training, I had been training consistently for about 4 years already, and I had been doing powerlifting for close to 1.5 years at this point. I thought I was pretty good, but I wanted to know how good because essentially you have competence and confidence. With competence, this is what you're actually able to do. With confidence, this is how you feel about what you can do. Now, the problem is, maybe it's the testosterone, but guys tend to have a little bit more confidence than what they are actually able to do. I mean, why not sell them on the best and hopefully prove the rest? So I went to the powerlifting meet with basically the same mindset. I was a little bit dieted down, but I was thinking PRs, that's personal records. I thought I was going to lift the heaviest that I've ever lifted. I thought it was going to just be complete empowerment from the divine, that I was just going to have this strength and I was going to crush some records. I was ready to go. So I come to that meet, I'm a little bit dieted down, I'm a little bit tired. And I go and I make an okay performance. And I was a little disappointed with the performance after having trained so hard for, years on doing this, on building this. My overconfidence kind of got to my head, especially whenever it was time for placing. I really did not think that I did as well as I could have. And then the announcer started to call out the placings. First and last. So this was my first powerlifting meet. And the announcer called out my weight class. And I was the only one in that weight class. So you know what? I won. I got first place. You could also argue that I also got last place. But regardless, I got a medal. It's sitting over there. And it was a very exciting experience because I didn't think that I deserved this, but hey, a medal's nice. And then part of me kind of felt guilty that maybe I didn't deserve this, but at the same time, why not? I put in the work. I developed the know-how, I developed the skills. I would say that I put even more of my efforts into the know-how, which really led me to more of an attraction for the intellectual side of lifting because I just like the way thinking works. Mainly because my smarts grow, but my gains kind of don't, but that's a different story. Anyways, the point is, if I put in the work and I did the stuff that it takes, I stayed committed to my direction, why not count that as a win? Why not just have a medal that is my own symbolic representation of my own personal win? And that's when I realized it's time for the big truth. So what is the secret ingredient? That special stuff that makes you a winner? I would argue it's this: the committed, capable win. So let's talk about the capability. So basically you have this know-how and you have these skills. These are going to make it so you're able to do real things. You're a capable person because you can do real things. You have the brains and you have the hands. Now let's talk about the committed part. The committed people are the people who expose themselves to risk. They are able to put themselves in a position that they could lose, that they could get rejected. But you know what? It is the only way that they can pull the trigger and potentially hit opportunity, get that success. Because when you hit that target, that's success. Now, the committed, capable win. They don't win on the first try necessarily, and you shouldn't expect to either. Whenever you are pulling the trigger, it's a moving target. You could be shooting at exactly the correct spot and still miss because it moves. There's so many variables at play, and you have to still shoot your shot because it's the only way that you will get that win, that you will get that success. It makes no sense to me that you would build up all of this capability and not pull the trigger. You have to be committed to pulling the trigger. That's why the committed, capable win. They are the people who did the work, they pulled the trigger, and the target just happened to be there. They get that success, and it's a probability thing. So you just have to be willing to fail as many times as it takes until you get what's yours. You have to be patient, but while you're being patient, you have to work super hard, and you have to be okay with that. And it can be really discouraging if you keep getting misses, and if you're never getting these small wins. But here's what's important. It's so important that you risk a comfortable life for an awesome life. Why would you not want that for yourself? So I want to conclude with one of my favorite speaker, Earl Nightingale's. This is in his Strangest Secret. He talks about how the greatest failure is not comfortability, it is conformity. Ultimately, we have people who are trying to lead lifestyles that they don't care about. They're going to pursue things to make them just like everybody else. This is a bad goal. This is a terrible direction, and it's not a direction for you. It's a direction for somebody else. It's a direction from society onto you. And it's not obvious how you pay the price. You have happiness, but it's hollow. You have relationships, but it's hollow. You have possessions, but they're hollow. You have yourself, but you're hollow. It's because you didn't stay true to yourself, and that's what people mean. It means committing to a direction that you care about that is not imposed from others. You are incapable of conforming whenever you commit to yourself, whenever you become capable in the things that you care about and empower yourself in the way that you know is correct for you. There were times that Jamie Siminoff just felt like success wasn't for him. There was the moment where I felt like that powerlifting medal was not for me. And there might be times in the future where you feel like success is not guaranteed for you. But I say, why not? Keep pulling the trigger, because ultimately that's the only way you're going to hit the target. And once you stop pulling the trigger, that's the only way you become a true failure. So pull the trigger and end a success. Life is a game, so start winning. All right, see you guys in the next one.
I think the girls with their nails done now.